Welcome back to the deep dive. We take all the sources, the articles, the research, those crucial narrative notes, and we really just pull out the insights for you, the learner.
And today we are going deep on the core party's latest, and I have to say, most morally complex action yet.
The Zephra conquered bank heist. It's all laid out in scene 14, and it's a lot.
Oh, it's a huge deal. This deep dive, it really gets to the core of their identity. This is the moment, the litmus test, that decides if Bip, Welsies, Atenemus, and Aaron are the prophesied heroes.
Right.
Or if they're just, well, a really effective team of criminals who happen to be fighting for the right side. This isn't just a side quest, this is an act that defines them.
And if you look at their trajectory, the stakes are just.
Yeah.
They're enormous. They finally secured the things they need to survive. They have freedom, thanks to that one-use transfer portal from a High Council. And they have cash, a lot of it, from the bounty on Admiral Jack Windbeard.
But then what do? They immediately take this morally dubious contract. And it forces them to make a choice right then and there. Are they driven by the prophecy, this
was driven by the harsh reality of survival, getting what they need to win the fight no matter the cost.
The contrast is it's jarring. 1 minute, they're being certified as protectors against evil by a High Council.
Passing a spell of truth.
Exactly. And the next, they're planning a high-level bank heist.
So our mission today is to give you the key nuggets, the real details. We're focusing on the execution, the planning, the strategic payoff. We want to see how the core team, plus their new allies.
And these are high-powered allies, Kulkita the Bird Swordsman and Zora the High Elf Sorcerer.
How this whole crew executed this incredibly high-stakes, high-stealth operation. We're going to dissect the planning, the teamwork, and how their very specific, sometimes dark skills just perfectly crack this whole thing wide open. You are going to learn exactly how you rob a magical bank when the fate of the world is on the line.
It's quite a story.
Okay, so let's unpack this journey, because you really can't understand the decision to rob a bank without understanding the pressure they were under right before it. I mean, this whole thing really hinges on what happened in scenes 11 through 13.
Yeah, the foundation for all this new moral flexibility, it's undeniably the execution of Admiral Jack Windbeard.
The Dark Act.
It's called the Dark Act, but the sources frame it as a necessity for the greater good. It shows this terrifying kind of utilitarianism starting to take hold of the party.
Let's get into the details of that, because it's so critical to understanding the moral leap they just took. Atenemus performs a coup de grace on Jack. This is on the last day of their voyage to Zephra City.
And this wasn't just revenge for some pirate attacks. Jack had proven he was a direct conduit for Gormak's purple magic.
The big bad, the apocalypse engine.
Exactly. And the sources are very specific about why he had to be dealt with permanently. During the Coral Barrow raid, they saw it firsthand. Jack just instantly killed a tied-up prisoner with a burst of purple energy.
And then moments later, he healed a fallen guard.
Fully healed and revived him. So he's not just powerful, he's regenerative. He's an unstoppable threat with a direct line to their ultimate enemy. You can't just lock a guy like that up.
And that's the moral leap the whole team had to make, right?
Yeah.
Welsie's the Paladin, Aaron the Ranger.
Yep.
They both had to give their consent. They had to agree to this execution.
And it wasn't just a practical choice. For Atenemus, it had these immediate, dark spiritual consequences. This act fulfilled one of his demon patron's tasks. He had to kill a chosen one or a major figure.
So it's a perfect, painful example of what the prophecy seems to demand. They have to commit what is, let's be honest, an atrocity. They assassinate a prisoner.
To neutralize a bigger apocalyptic threat, yeah.
And that terrible decision, it immediately pays off in ways that completely shape their next moves. That 10,000 gold bounty negotiated by Atenemus.
Of which he quietly kept 200 gold as a delivery fee.
Classic Atenemus.
Yeah.
But it left the team with 6,000 gold, a massive amount of money.
And not just money, it gave them resources, mobility, and safety.
Precisely. They also got their golden ticket, the ultimate insurance policy. That single-use transfer portal from the High Council of Zephra City.
So now they have the two things every adventurer needs when fighting an apocalypse.
Money for gear.
And a guaranteed instant escape route, whether it's from a demon horde or, as it turns out, the city guard.
The sheer audacity of using that priceless one-time use portal, a key part of their main quest as the getaway car for a bank heist, is just It's astounding.
It shows a total shift in their thinking.
But let's not forget the pressure they were under right before they took this job. That high council meeting in Scene 13 is so important for understanding the cognitive dissonance of the heist.
Right. They willingly submitted to the council's Spell of Truth trial. This is a process that validates their commitment to fighting evil, and they passed.
They passed. The highest authorities in the city certified that their hearts were in the right place, even though Antinomous is literally bound to a demon patron who demands treachery.
And that paradox is the engine that drives this whole thing. They get certified as good guys.
And their very next move is grand larceny. What does that tell you about the compromises you have to make when you're facing a threat like Cormac?
Well, it raises the question, right? Is their righteousness conditional? The council said they weren't molding to the evil, but the prophecy warns them, choice they must, yet choice is chains.
And they're choosing to use these illicit means, the bank heist, to forge their own fate.
Believing that the tools they get from it are what they need to win the war. It's a tragic, pragmatic choice.
And before they went full criminal, they did take a moment for some personal prep, which adds this really fascinating layer to their characters.
It does. Welsies, ever the devout paladin, finds a shrine and gets his great axe blessed.
And what does he name it?
He names it C3PO.
Of course he does.
And the blessing gives it the ability to perform translations for an hour a day. So this is Welsies, recommitting to his divine quest right before this massive moral plunge.
Meanwhile, you have Aaron the Ranger, who's clearly struggling with the emotional weight of killing Jack.
Yeah. He pays Howl the Bard 200 gold, which is a lot of money, to chronicle the execution as a heroic tale. He's trying to reframe it, to assuage his own guilt.
It's narrative control. If you tell the story the right way, the dark act becomes heroic.
Right. And while all this is happening, Debbie, the elf wizard, stays at the inn to study the food. It's a great character moment. She's from the world's best cooking family, and her quest is for recipes. So she just neatly sidesteps the whole criminal enterprise.
Keeps her hands clean, metaphorically.
Exactly. And finally, the team gets a power-up. Kolkita the bird swordsman and Zora the high elf sorcerer, they officially join the team for the apocalyptic quest.
So the heist immediately becomes their first team-building exercise.
And what an exercise. It forces this new, larger team to test their synergy right away on an incredibly complex mission. They go from being individuals to a cohesive, high-risk unit overnight.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. They move from what they saw as a justified killing to outright criminality. They have the money, they have the escape route, and then they get an invitation.
From a man named Garrick Stone. He's described as a wealthy citizen, looks like a retired adventurer. He invites the whole team core members, plus Kulkita and Zora, to his big, multi-level manor.
And the job seems surprisingly small for such a big setup. Retrieve a small black box, about a foot by half a foot, from the Zephra-conquered bank vaults.
The pretext is flimsy. Stone claims he was cheated out of an auction, but the catch is what immediately makes it all feel so shady.
You won't tell them what's in the box.
Nope. Or who the rightful winner of the auction was. He gives them no moral or legal justification at all. It's purely personal.
Which forces the team to justify it internally as a means to an end for their bigger war.
Right. And the requirements of the job just elevate the difficulty into the stratosphere. It becomes this high-level tactical puzzle.
A textbook bank heist.
Completely. The mandate is strict. Undetected, no damage, and absolutely no harming any guards or employees. Stealth in, stealth out.
And the lock on the box itself is, what, a 4th or 5th level major lock?
At least. It's designed to alert the entire city if it's tripped, which basically confirms that their single-use portal isn't just a backup plan, it's a necessary part of the mission.
And the fee for all this risk? A mere 500 gold.
Plus the dossier on the bank security. But yeah, 500 gold is nothing, especially since they just got 6,000.
So it's not about the money?
It's not. It's about strategic acquisition. The sources are very clear that they agreed to this, despite the moral issues, because of the darker urges of Antinomous and Bip. Pragmatism over piety.
So let's dig into that. How do those two steer the team towards this, and how does someone like Welsies, a paladin, get dragged along?
Well, Antinomous is the most direct influence. His warlock background, his demon patron, it all commands treachery and death. He just killed Jack to satisfy that patron. For him, a little larceny is just the next logical step to keep his patron happy and his magic flowing.
And Bip provides the practical justification.
BIP is all about pragmatism and opportunistic gain. I mean, look at his history. He was looting during the Duskmere evacuation.
He tied a bell to a villager to distract dragons.
He did. He has a long track record of focusing on profit and using clever, if questionable, means to get it. For BIP, this bank vault is just the biggest, most exciting lockbox he's ever seen.
So Wellesley's is the real moral core of this dilemma. He's an honorable paladin. He just passed a spell of truth trial. This whole job risks his oath, his divine power, everything he stands for.
His internal conflict is the most intense and, frankly, the most tragic part of this whole scene. He literally just got his axe, C-3PO, blessed by his god, yet he consents. Which suggests that the combined arguments from Atenimus and BIP, plus the desperate pressing need for high-level magic items, which he correctly assumes are in that vault, it all just outweighs his moral objection.
So it's a utilitarian choice. He sacrifices a piece of his soul now to get the gear he needs to win the war later.
That's precisely the tragedy of it. For Wellesley's, the fight against Gormak has forced him to make a strategic retreat from strict righteousness. Purity doesn't matter much if Gormak wins and everyone dies.
It's a calculated, painful move.
Yeah.
It transforms him into a darker, more pragmatic kind of champion.
It really does.
So once the contract is signed, the professional preparation starts. This wasn't just a smash and grab. It was a military-grade operation. And it starts with intel gathering from Garrick Stone's dossier.
Yes, and they immediately split into a two-pronged recon team. Wellesley's, the paladin, and Atenimus, the warlock, take the inside job. They're focused on magical and internal security.
And their cover story is it's brilliant in its simplicity. They go in to deposit BIP's old iron cooking pot.
Which is just a fantastic bit of misdirection. But it's purely tactical. It lets them secure vault spot number 49 right next to their target, number 50, gives them an inside look without raising any red flags.
And inside, what do they see?
Dwarven runes and scrying devices everywhere. A deep magical security system. And they spot this room with a koi pond that Stone's dossier had marked as a potential trap.
And Atenimus, being Atenimus, just has to test it.
He does. He asks the teller if he can touch the water and just does it before she can even answer. And he confirms the trap is inactive during business hours. A small risk, but a massive piece of intel for later.
Meanwhile, Bip and Aaron are on the outside team, looking at physical defenses, guards.
But the most important thing they spot are the people loitering around the bank. They notice individuals with distinct rogue guild tattoos.
This is where the lore gets really specific, and it's so important for you, the learner, to get this. The inside team saw rogues with clock and volcano tattoos.
Right. Clock rogues are the planners, the architects, volcano are the muscle.
And the outside team saw Wave and Root.
Wave are your cut purses, sea specialists. Root are the secretive forest-based infiltrators. And the critical realization was that all four major guilds were here, together.
Which leads Bip to realize they've got competition. Big competition. He uses Thieves' Cant to approach them.
And he finds out immediately. All four guilds are collaborating on a heist of their own for an item inside that bank. And they're getting paid 1,200 gold for it.
More than double what our team is getting.
Exactly. So now there's this urgent competitive pressure. They have to move fast and clean, or they risk getting caught in the middle of someone else's mess.
So preparation becomes everything, even if it costs them more than the 500 gold they were promised. They start buying crucial, specialized gear.
And that spending tells you everything about their priorities. They buy a bag of holding because they expect a massive score, not just one box. They buy a scroll of Dimension Door as a last-ditch emergency escape.
But the most important purchase, the one that makes the whole thing possible, is the Scroll of Dispel Magic.
That is the key technical nugget right there. Bip's lockpicking and Atenimus's illusions. They're not enough for a 4th or 5th level magical vault. Dispel Magic is a high-level counter.
It's a direct response to the runes and scrying devices they saw on their tour.
It's a professional approach. It shows they were willing to spend more than they were being paid. Because getting the gear for the real fight, the fight against Gormak, that was the actual mission, not the 500 gold.
So the night of the heist, the team approaches the bank and they immediately see signs of its heavy security. A glowing magic around a person who stops, a scrying spot made obvious to scare people off.
Right. The bank wants you to know you're being watched.
And this is where Atenimus just... His quick thinking is incredible. He walks up to the doors, pretending to check the hours, and he just hooks the door handle.
And it's unlocked. A stroke of luck or timing that lets them just walk calmly inside. That calm entry was critical. It maintained the element of surprise.
Inside, they immediately find the other rogues, from the waving clock guilds. And Bip's diplomacy is it's immediate and perfect.
He uses that honor among thieves code. He tells them they're only after box number 50. And the other guilds relax. They even agree to help, saying they only want box number 49.
Bip's old iron pot.
Bip's old pot and any discards. So just like that, the competition is neutralized and turned into a temporary alliance.
And this is where the core team dynamics really start to shine. Welsies, the Dwarven Paladin, despite his moral conflict, becomes the unexpected key to the first big puzzle.
He's essential. The main room floor is covered in Dwarven runes. Welsies isn't a rune maker, but his cultural heritage, his deep knowledge of Dwarven engineering, lets him spot the flaw.
How does he do it?
He recognizes the geometry of protective wards laid by Dwarven high engineers. He knows it's not a flaw, it's an indicator. He sees this tiny discoloration under the 9th rune, and that tells him the one safe spot to step to avoid the pressure plate. It's archaeological insight solving a security puzzle.
And he guides everyone through, the whole team and the rival rogues.
Which proves his specialized knowledge, even outside his holy oath, is just indispensable.
After that, they split up to disable the first set of high-security locks.
And the northern team Zora, Bip, Atenimus, and the other rogues, they struggle. They have failures, they accidentally lock their own entry door, they draw attention, they get through, but it's messy.
Which makes the southern team's success even more important. That's Kolkata, Aaron, and Welsies.
And they enter a room filled with barbarian and Orcish emblems. This is where Aaron's, his very specific dark background, comes into play.
He hates mountain orcs because a war party crippled his father.
Exactly. So he has studied their language and their culture out of this deep-seated need for vengeance. And that bitter knowledge lets him read the emblems and figure out the sequence to disarm the wards. They succeed flawlessly, quieting the alarms the other team tripped.
So the lesson is clear. The team's success depends entirely on this unique mix of skills. Bip's and Atenimus's darker skills are balanced by Welsies' cultural heritage and Aaron's ranger expertise.
It's a multi-spectrum problem-solving unit. They regroup in the koi pond room, confirming it's safe now. And at this point, the other rogues, stressed out by all the noise, they decide they're done. They grab the pot and they leave.
So the core team splits again for the second set of locks.
The north team faces a room with beams of light, requiring pure stealth from Bip and Atenimus, while the south team gets something even stranger.
A white prayer room.
With rotating discs that probe their very souls and intent. It's a moral purity test. And Welsies, again, is the guide. His paladin training lets him spot discrepancies in the religious symbols, which reveals the safe path. He's using his piety to get them through a security system while committing a crime. The irony is incredible.
And after all that, they reach the final hurdle, the vault doors themselves, which, the sources say, are sentient.
Sentient and very distrustful of anyone who shows up without an authorized guide. They've done everything right, but they don't have the social clearance.
Until Atenimus has an idea.
Of course. The master of deception. He steps out of sight, uses his ring of disguise, and instantly impersonates the bank teller they met earlier.
It's a perfect blend of magic and deception.
He walks up, mimics her mannerisms, and the sentient doors are completely fooled. They grant him entry. It's a testament to how his darker, treacherous skills are absolutely vital to the team's success.
So they're inside the vault, and the sources describe this incredible sight. Storage chests, just floating in random order, held by gravitational magic.
But they zero in on their target right away, the black box from bin number 50, and they notice the owner's name on the bin, Lady Hawkwinter.
A little detail they file away for later, a clear hook for the future.
Definitely. And now it's time for the big play, the reason they spent all that money. They pull out the scroll of Dispel Magic.
And it works.
It works perfectly. The scroll turns to dust, and all the floating chests, all 19 of them, slowly settle to the floor. That one purchase just gave them access to everything and bought them precious minutes.
And the rival rogues show up right as this happens.
Perfect timing. And all they ask for is Bip's old iron pot from Case 49, much to Bip's amusement.
A huge win for Bip's diplomacy, using his junk as a diversion. So the team grabs the black box, and then they start a massive looting spree from those 19 chests.
And this is the core nugget for you, the learner. The gear they get here fundamentally changes their capabilities for the entire quest.
Let's go through it item by item. What does Aaron the Ranger walk away with?
Aaron's haul is all about precision and utility. He gets the oath bow, a powerful weapon, and a bracer of archery for a +2 bonus. He goes from a skilled tracker to a master marksman, just like that.
Plus some stealth gear.
Right, an anklet of silence and spider climb slippers, incredible mobility for scouting and infiltration. A very pragmatic haul.
Okay, what about Atenimus, the warlock?
His gear is perfect for his dark trade. Night glass grapple gloves for climbing in the dark, a Tomb of Leadership book, which suggests he's thinking bigger picture, maybe becoming a general in the war.
A leadership book, interesting.
And a halo shard of lesser restoration, giving him a healing utility he didn't have before, plus a monocle of distant sight and some valuable dwarven rings worth 600 gold.
And Welsies. The paladin who made the big moral compromise. What's his reward?
He does incredibly well, which just reinforces the pragmatic choice he made. He gets a full suit of plate armor that looks like adamantium,
Wow.
a massive upgrade for their frontline tank. He also gets a +1 warhammer, a potion of dragon fire breath, and a dwarven tablet that can cast Zone of Truth once.
But the biggest get for him, the one that changes everything,
is the Broom of Flying, a total game changer. Suddenly, the heaviest, most ground-based member of the party has unlimited mobility. He can scout, reposition, escape. He's no longer just a defender. He's a versatile, flying combatant.
And finally, Bip the Rogue. He gets upgrades for stealth and evasion, but one item he finds is just. It's a nuclear option.
He gets studded leather +2, a dagger for term, misty step boots, all great rogue gear. A circlet of moon stealth. He's becoming the perfect infiltrator.
But the scroll?
The scroll of true name binding, that is terrifying. While most of his haul is for evasion, this scroll suggests he is thinking way beyond burglary now.
Knowing a demon's true name gives you total control over it.
Total control. Bip has accidentally equipped himself to be the key negotiator, or the ultimate weapon, in the final fight against Gormak. That one item justifies the entire heist.
So the mission is a massive success. They have the box, they have a huge cache of treasure, and now they just need to get out before the city guard shows up.
And the escape plan is simple. They're going to use their single-use transfer portal, the one from the High Council, to get far, far away from Zephra City before sunrise. They use the reward for one crime to get away with the next. It's perfect circular pragmatism.
So after all that, what does this deep dive tell us about our heroes? They completed the mission flawlessly, got rich, got powerful new gear, but they had to compromise their morals to do it. Is the end defeating Gormak starting to justify these means?
If we connect it all back to the prophecy, the answer seems to be a tragic but definite yes. The team is now resource-rich, mobile, and they have items like that scroll of true name binding and the adamantium armor.
They took a huge strategic leap forward through an act of crime.
Absolutely. The prophecy says choice they must, yet choice is chains. And they just use their dark magic and their willingness to bend their ethics to forge their fate. This heist wasn't a distraction, it fundamentally re-equipped them. They are so much more formidable now.
They took a detour through a shadowy back alley
to reach a brighter, more survivable future where they actually have a chance against demons. They're no longer just surviving, they're accumulating power by any means necessary. But let's leave you with one final thought, one that ties back to the very beginning of the crime.
Okay.
The black box, their main objective, was from a bin belonging to a Lady Hawkwinter. Who is she? And what is inside that box that made Garrick Stone hire a team of prophesied heroes to steal it? Was the box the real goal? Or was the whole heist just a way for Stone to test, equip, and bind this powerful team to his own unknown agenda? That's the next hidden thread you should really keep in mind as their journey continues.
An essential question for a future deep dive. Thanks for diving deep with us. Till next time, keep digging.